listening to the Author Inside You podcast, a weekly podcast designed to motivate you to finish writing a book, choose a publisher, and have your work build an audience. Keep listening if you're looking to get propelled into the next chapter of your life. And now, it's the Author Inside You podcast with your host, Leah and Matt Rafferty.
Hello and welcome to the Author Inside You podcast. I'm Matt Rafferty.
And I'm Leah Rafferty.
Today our guest is Suzanne Miles, author of Fork It, The Keys to Amazing Health. Suzanne is a plant-based researcher with an interest in health education. Welcome, Suzanne. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Matt and Leah. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us how you first became interested in writing a book?
You bet. I think a lot of people think about writing a book. I think some people think about writing a book for many, many years in their life. And, over the years, I've sort of, thought, oh, maybe I should write a book one day. And you never really know what about, right?
Right.
So because we have so many topics that we live through in our lives. And so there's a lot of things that we could write about. I guess that's why people end up writing, many books. Some people write many, many books. I got interested in writing my book because I came to a point where I actually had something specific that I thought I could share with people, which was wrapped around health, which was wrapped around weight loss and adapting a new type of lifestyle in order to gain amazing health. So it sort of started from something I was doing quite naturally just in my life. And eventually it came towards me that, perhaps I should write a book. And then, of course, once you put that out in the world, next thing you know, you start, you start meeting people.
Yeah.
So
it just sort of kind of came to me.
Lots of us think about writing a book. What was it that got you started in actually sitting down and putting the book together?
Well, as life goes, I happened to see on Facebook an ad go by me that there was a publisher coming to Vancouver and was hosting an event. And I said to my husband, I should go to that. And I got to tell you, where I live in Canada, when it's summer, we don't do things inside, right? So it took a lot of guts for me to go indoors for an entire weekend to hear what would it be like to write a book, because I didn't know. It's easy to get from other people, or other people will say to you things like, oh, you can just write an ebook. It takes 5 minutes to throw it up, and you just throw it up and throw it out there and all that stuff. But I didn't think that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to have something, if I was going to write a book or even consider it, I needed some sort of substance to guide me along. I needed a guide.
Yeah.
And I needed to understand what did it all mean? What was it for? What would I do with it? What would become of me? So it was a really kind of that type of a thing. And I went to this event and I decided, I actually have a really good story, and I have a story that can help other people. And sure, I could weave other things around that story, as time went along. But for now, I needed to do something that would solidify the story. And so that's how it started.
Did you know right away you were going to write a book about food?
I thought, gosh, there's so many topics. I've done so many things. But this is something that can help a lot of people, a lot of people. And so I thought, I'm gonna write a book. And the reason why it really came into life was because also I saw it as an opportunity to create a business, to create some self-employment in a very quickly changing world. And now I can say that having a published book, even not quite having it done, is the biggest business card and door opener you can ever have.
Yeah, can you
expand
expand
about? A book opens doors.
Yes, your business card. I like how you use the word business card. Can you expand on that?
Well, if you go and see Tony Robbins, he doesn't give you a business card, he gives you a book.
Okay, all right.
So you can use a book as a marketing tool. So perhaps your topic is any topic we could talk about, and you can actually send that to businesses, organizations, government bodies, stores, shops, specific niche places where your book could go, and it can be used as a calling card as equally as it would a business card. How many people, this is really what I've really learned, how many people get their mail and there's a book inside it from the author?
Yeah, pretty cool, right? Yeah.
That would make an impression. Yes.
It's an impression point. And so this was really a big motivator for me because I'm kind of, approaching 60, and I was thinking, what else could I do that's sort of a bit more around creating a lifestyle? Because this is another aspect of our modern world. Many, many people are trying to create lifestyles. And so were my husband and I. And so we saw it as something we do. We're living it. We've been living this book, 4 Keys to Amazing Health is my book. We've been living it for many years prior to it coming to print. So we just saw it as kind of a natural evolution and a gift to the world from us of some knowledge and information that perhaps can help another person.
Great. Now tell us a little bit about finding the publisher or self-publishing it, and then your cover. You have a really likable cover.
Thank you. It took a lot of bravery to do the cover. I learned.
You look great.
Oh, thank you very much. I had my first photo shoot at 57. Everybody says things happen to you when you're young. I'm starting to disagree. But I think that there's a lot that people should look forward to and not try to pack it all into one sort of specific age group or demographic. And the cover and the way that the book is presented is to be used as a marketing tool. So I'm not necessarily a writer, but I am an author. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I learned was that if you put yourself on the cover, it really creates the impact and it says something. What I wanted to do was to demonstrate that I've made a transition. I've shifted a transition into a healthier me. And I wanted the cover to show that here I am. This is what I've done. And yes, I've lost weight and I've transformed myself in exciting ways. And I wanted the cover to be a professional vision of that. And I'll tell you something, my topic is about plant-based living. It's about food and vegan. And I wanted to take away the stigma that being a vegan is a nibbling on, nuts and seeds and is for a specific group of people because people label it alternative or hippie. I disagree, and I want to share this with businesses, offices where we can impact people in a more healthy way to make the whole office more productive, and then that goes into people's lives. So I really wanted the cover to be an expression of purposeful transformation. I hope it represents that.
Oh, I think it does. And it's just nice, like your positive attitude. Just by talking to you, you seem so positive, and then you have this information that you want to share with other people to spread healthy living and also being positive.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you something, Leah, is that I've really come to know I have been a vegan now since 2011. I'll be 60 this year. I'm stronger, happier, healthier, freer than I've ever been by walking this path. And I didn't know when I started. When I started, it was like, and I talk about it in the book. It's like, I wasn't really well, and I was putting weight on, and I had problems. I was always at the doctor, and I kept thinking this isn't my story, and I wanted to shift it. And that's how it goes into the book. So the book kind of says, hey, here's my story, and this is what I did to make that shift, and how I now can help others through the book to understand that it's like even writing the book. If you focus on the end result, you will get results. Your book will come out. If you start writing your book and you start with the word "the" and you start putting it together, over time it comes together. And the book, I think, is the writing of it, I found in actual fact to be the easiest part. And then kind of the fun part was the putting it all together so that the book looks really, really dynamic for people to pick up and read and learn from.
How did you put it together? together?
Well, I had a team, so it was nice to have a team through the publishing, the self-publishing company. That had a team of people, but I put it together in a fashion that makes the book easy to read. People want to pick it up. I like putting it in people's hands and seeing their face. What? This is you, and it inspires them to kind of look inside it, and putting it together is a creative process. So my book has many creative pieces in it that I hope people enjoy, and I wanted it to be, in our fast-paced world, something that people could pick up, make it feel good in their hands, and they could open it up and they could take something away pretty quickly that they could activate in their lives right away.
So something you could pick up and open to any page. Like if it's just sitting on a coffee table, somebody just happens to pick it up.
Like right now, I've opened up to page 61, and it says, "This is your time. Enjoy it."
Uh-huh. Well,
now,
you can maybe get more audience members that way also, because if I'm a visitor to my friend's home and I see your book and I pick it up, like you just said, 61, I'm already like intrigued. Oh, wonder what's this about, So that's good. A good idea.
And it's been, I think the creative part of a book is the most fun part. The writing and the research was fun too, but it had the more kind of what is the message I want to convey, and how do I condense that into X chapters. And so what I learned was that by focusing it into a system, 10 chapters, each chapter X number of words, you could actually now sort of see it coming together. And then and then once you get all that kind of together, the big key was to get it down and get it right later. Because I'll tell you something, and this is funny. People say to me, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that?" And they have a vision of people at a computer, and pulling out the paper like the old typewriter, and throwing it. And I got a pile of paper by my desk, and I'm stressed, and I'm, and that wasn't true at all. Indeed, it just kind of flowed, because I think once you actually take definitive action, especially if you pay for it, you do move towards result, because the goal isn't to have it sitting in limbo. The goal is to have it out and published. So it flowed kind of nicely towards that direction, and I really didn't want to waste time. So, I think people write books for lots of reasons, and it depends where you're at and where your thoughts are at, right? My thoughts became more like, I could have a business about this. I could get more educated. I could wrap this around other things like life coaching or public speaking, or, working with government bodies about planning for meals in schools even.
Wow. Yeah.
So as many, as a broader vision. Yeah. Many offshoots.
Has your book led to many public speaking events?
I've been very fortunate. I'm going to say yes. I've been very lucky. I've been able to speak on some big stages. I've had my cover flown in big lights in Sydney, Australia, where I got to be interviewed at a Tony Robbins event in Sydney.
Cool.
So I took a lot of action, you see, and I think this is something that I really want to share with listeners. If you're interested in writing a book, is get it down and get it out of you and get it going. Make it move. Move away from yourself, because I think one of the big things I learned is that most people don't move forward because then they're scared of, what if people don't like it, and what if I don't even know what I'm saying is right, and what if my colorings or my illustrations people don't like them, and things like that. But that's not true at all. People love it. If as soon as you start walking the author path, you must tell people, "Hi, I'm an author," and it starts to give you more power that this is actually something that I'm going to achieve. Mm-hmm. I am going to write a book. It's a really great path of self-discovery, discipline, creativity, marketing, business ideas. You can take it anywhere you want. So yes, I've had speaking engagements. I've spoken at Tony Robbins event, Richard Branson event. I've done podcasts. I'm doing a local event here in the spring. I'm interested. My book's gone to Washington, D.C., to the Physicians Committee's library.
Wow.
Libraries want your books, everyone. with the way, I mean, people love books.
Yes, they
This
do.
was another fear I had, was that books, but in actual fact, I've come to the understanding people love books, especially if it's something that they can grab and learn something quickly from in a busy world.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips on how to get libraries interested in your book?
You pick up the phone and you call them.
And so
You
how do they
call
react?
them.
And they're pretty good about it?
I made so many phone calls. I have business partners in my book. I have people who've partnered with me in my book. Some are from the United States, some are from Australia, Canada. They have advertising in my book. So now, for example, I pick up the phone. This is an opportunity to meet people and broaden your connections. And I've called everywhere. I've called New York. I've called the library in New York. How do I get my book in there?
Okay.
And they'll tell you, right? They'll say, oh, we go this way, go that way, and we'll pay for it or we won't pay for it. I've had libraries purchase my book,
Great.
full price,
Yeah.
and now it's in their stock and things like that. So, and other places I've just given it as a donation and whatever. So it's really, there's some components about the book that I've really enjoyed learning about, and that's more about, okay, you can write a book, okay, here's the book, but now the next thing is, what do I do with the book?
Yes.
What do we do with the marketing of the book? How do I move the book? And I've discovered, the mail works, the phone works, Facebook and social media work, LinkedIn works, and you can create a whole new path with your book. Of course, and I might want to say that everybody's in a different position. Some people are academics and they use it as part of studying for PhDs or things like that. Mm-hmm. Other people want to leave a legacy. Other people want to start a business with it or add to. So let's say you're a chiropractor. Let's say you want to find a way to get new business. Gee, if you wrote a book, imagine you could now go and talk to schools about that, and they want to have your book, and you get more customers this way, right?
Right.
So there's lots of ways that a book can work for people, including complete transformation and letting go of a traditional working environment and becoming a self-made entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was going to say. You sound like an entrepreneur. You've had this book, and then you have, you've done great things, figuring out what else can I do with this book. That's congratulations. That's pretty neat to hear.
Turning it into a business.
Yeah.
Turning it into a business. But here's the thing. Turning it into a business doesn't come fast. And so in our fast-paced world, it's like anything. People start off on January 1st, I'm going to lose 2 pounds, 5 pounds, I need to lose 10 pounds. And they start off on January 1st, and it's widely known that by January the 14th, if you haven't started or you've stopped, you're not going to lose those pounds. So again, it goes back to, there's no failure in it. There's only results. And so you get to drive it. So some people want to really drive hard and go hard at it. Whereas me, I'm interested in meeting the right people and the right connections and having my book flow in a nice fashion instead of sort of peaking and falling. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, you discussed earlier that you like to see people's reaction when they see your book. Can you tell us about the actual book?
The book is designed, it's crafted and designed, and I would say engineered. The book is a glossy cover. I am on the cover giving it credibility. This is me, this is who I am, here I am, and it gives it a lot of credibility. Also, the book feels, and many people say to me, it kind of feels like a bit of an iPhone. Feels really nice in your hand. It's about 117 pages or something like that, and it feels nice in the hand. It doesn't feel overwhelming. When you have a book, once you get your book, the key is to put it in front of people. It doesn't mean you have to give it to them.
Right.
It means that you can put it in front of people and say, yeah, I'm an author, I've written this book, and let them hold it. And by that observation, you're seeing many, many signals coming to you. I like it, I don't like it. Wow, look at this. They open it, they flip it, it feels good. Wow. This is what you're looking for, because you're looking to garner also information of how you feel you could project further. not everybody's going to like your book. Not everybody's going to like what you have to say, but there's billions of people who will. And so there's a lot of people out there who are very interested in looking for information on everything from every topic we can think of. And especially right now, there's a lot of excitement around books and people writing books. And I think having a published book in your hand compared to an ebook is really exciting.
Right. Well, that's good to hear again, because I think some people do worry too much about what other people think. Oh, someone's not going to, like you said, there's so many people out there. You will find an audience. So thank you for saying that, because I think people
you
need
will
to
find
hear
an
that.
audience. I mean, I haven't really done that much, and I have an audience, and I have people, and I tap different things, and I contact people for all kinds of reasons, and some will say yes, and some will say no, and it's just like anything, you keep going, because it's your work, and if that's what you've created and put out there. And, people will like it, but it's not going to be everybody. And, I'll tell you something, and this is the hardest chip to fall probably, is it's probably not the people right immediately around you.
Oh, yep.
And the other thing is that you have to charge for it. You should charge for your work. And so by having things set up in more of a business structure, you can actually charge. Like when I went to the library, this is a great example. I was going to give them a copy for their files, and they said, no, we want to pay the artist.
Great.
And I was like, wow. And I'm thinking I could give them a discount. No. They paid full price.
Great.
And I also learned this is about when you do your book. And I went through this, and it's a very interesting kind of moment when you get to, what should my book be priced at?
Yes.
What should I price it at? Oh, that's interesting now.
Difficult.
And in actual, it is difficult, but I learned this. My head went, I want to have it for, let's call it $20.
Okay.
I then learned that if you say 20 and you want to half price it, it's 10. But if you say it's more, you'll over time it's better for the optics. So my book sells for $32, but because and many people have bought it for $32 all over the world without question. But if I want, I could say now, go on Facebook, put up a promotion. I'm promoting my book. I'm free shipping included because that's included in the $32.
Okay.
And I can say, I want to get more of my book out there. I want to get it in more hands. $20 this week, includes shipping worldwide. Well, I'll tell you something. To ship a book of 117 pages to Australia from where I am in Vancouver, Canada, is almost $15.
Wow.
So there's nothing in it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I put it at 20 and now I go back, it's $5, now you lose credibility. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the 32 stands as a point of credibility. And hey, if you're broke and you don't have the book and I'm in front of you, and I'll just give it to you because there's no skin off my nose. But on the other hand, isn't it nice to make some money and get some reward for your efforts?
Of course.
Absolutely,
of course.
yes.
Thank you.
It's great advice because we've never talked to anybody about pricing their book before. And so that is a difficult situation.
It is, because your ego gets in the way. Also, your point of reference to how you see money gets in the way.
Exactly.
You know what? Right? There's all these like unknown factors that you probably haven't had to discover about yourself before, and it's almost like, all right, 32, and then you kind of you leap that boundary. And the most interesting thing was, and I'm going to tell you, this was the most funnest thing. When my books arrived, I ran up to the corner grocery store where they sell all these nice organic foods and stuff, and he bought like 10 books at full price. He wasn't interested in. He said, I just want to support you. I'll buy 10 at full price. And I'm serious. The book had only been in my hand hours.
Wow.
Okay, hours. And I was going to say to him, oh, you could have it for this price. He said, no, I want it for the full price. You've done it. I know you're a customer, and I want to have other people. How he chooses to sell it is his choice.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
Interesting. Very interesting.
That was some great support. That must have felt really unbelievable on day one.
I couldn't believe it. I think I ran home on air, and this was just like, what? Somebody wants to buy my book, not one, but 10?
10, yeah, that's wonderful.
10 copies on day one.
Yeah, so it's really about kind of, it's a lot of fun writing a book, but the key is to keep it moving so that it actually comes out and is published and going.
Okay, one more thing. You said you had a lot of people support getting your book put together. Was it hard to contact these people, your group, or was it, difficult to get them to respond? How was your process?
So the process came through the publishing group. So they had people that would help you sort of put parameters around the book, so that it was almost like a bit of a teaching group would come around you for different aspects of the book. And this is why I've learned so much about writing a book and publishing a book, and really ultimately crafting a book. And that was really what we wanted. I didn't really want to have a book, although I could maybe another book. I could write another book now because I understand the model, but really it was having people around me that could guide me and say, okay, when are you going to get your photo shoot done? How are we, like that pushing, that driver, almost like coaches.
Okay, good. Yeah, motivators.
Right? So motivators and coaches, and some people haven't done anything. I mean, some people they could pay a lot of money to have a publisher, and they'll never write five words because they're just not going to do it. So it's that mindset thing. And see, so the interesting thing was that it was always like, start with the word the. And then just write for 5 minutes, and then put it down and go and have a shower, brush your teeth, come back, have your tea, write 5 more minutes. So I broke it down into segments that helped me write the book, and then I flushed it out with creativity. So it goes back to getting your work down and getting it right later. Okay. And because the thing is a lot of people say to me, I've been working on a book for a long time. For 10 years, some people lifetimes, and I've never really got it published. But the thing is that then what I did was I never went back and really because you can always go back. I could definitely go back now and write a whole new book. Mm-hmm. Yeah. but the book has to end. So the book has to, you have to get to that point where it's like, that's it, close it, submit it.
Great.
Then you got to get to that point, because that is the point that you want to get to. Otherwise, it's always in a frustration. People don't believe you. Oh, yeah, you've been wanting to write that book forever. You can write a book, and you can write many other books, because people aren't really going to critique it. They really don't have time anymore.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you.
To get in there and go, oh, there's a spelling mistake.
Yeah. Right.
Well, this is because it motivates you. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, Suzanne, you're just filled with all kinds of advice. So we sort of have to wrap up here. So what would be the best advice you would give fellow authors who are writing a book or thinking about writing a book?
Write it down. Get it right later. If you want to write a book, write a book. Publish it. Get it to print. And be proud of it. Maybe you just want to have a few books for a few people. And I would think, get excited about it. Tell people you're an author, and follow your heart to getting this book done and being proud of it. And how you move it beyond there is another story for another discussion, because that's all the marketing piece. Dive in. Do it. Right. There's nothing holding you back.
Well, good advice, because I know it is hard sometimes putting yourself out there. You're like, I don't know, no. But you're like, I just like the way you, I guess, once again, a very positive approach to life. And I thank you, because I think it's very, everyone can relate to your message.
Well, you push forward. It sounds like you push forward, and you're not looking back, and you don't care what your friends and other people might say about you. You're just doing it.
Well, you believe in yourself too,
right.
So that's good too.
That's right.
Believing in yourself, I believe.
Yeah. And that's true. And what happens is you grow from that, and you realize that people are really receptive. And hey, I don't expect everybody to like my book. I don't expect my friends to buy my book, or I don't want to push it on them. Mm-hmm. But hey, if they want to copy this, but because my goals are bigger, my goals are beyond that. They're there, how could I help at an event and be a speaker in anywhere in the world I want to choose down the line? What if I get invited to be a keynote speaker, a panelist? What if I can learn more, write more books? So it was really about, for me personally, it was about what could I take into my future that could grow and develop into something that I really love and can see being an expansive part of my life and the journey. So it's been a really good experience. I highly recommend getting it down, getting it right later. Don't worry about the spelling. Don't worry about the grammar. You can deal with all that later. It's about getting it down and getting it right and then getting it published.
One last question, Suzanne. How's the best way for our listeners to get in touch with you?
So I have a website. It's going to be changing, but for right now, you can use www.forkitbook.com, forkitbook.com. I'm on Instagram, Go for Glow with Suzanne. And I'm on LinkedIn, and you can contact me through those various ways. My email's on there, my phone number, all that stuff. So, I'm interested in doing all kinds of things. If anybody else there wants to talk to me, I'm also a life coach, and I'm studying to do, to be a professional coach for business transitions and to help people kind of break through that point and make some action, get their book published.
So thank you again, Suzanne, and thanks for listening to the Author Inside You podcast. Until next time.
Right on.
Thank you for listening to the Author Inside You podcast with your host, Leah and Matt Rafferty.